Have you ever felt humiliated, right in front of everyone? That sinking feeling in your chest, it's not your fault. Some people humiliate to feel powerful, but you don't have to play their game. We've all been there. A coworker mocks your idea, a friend cracks a private joke, or someone subtly embarrasses you in public. It leaves you second-guessing yourself, questioning your worth, and wondering why it always seems to happen to you. The reality is harsh but freeing. Most humiliation isn't about you. It's about their insecurities, fears, and desire to control the situation. Stoic philosophy teaches that true power comes from how you perceive and respond, not from controlling others. Today, we'll explore 7 reasons people humiliate you, why these moments reveal more about them than you, and how Stoic wisdom can help you protect your dignity, reclaim your energy, and respond with calm confidence. By the end, you'll see humiliation not as a threat, but as a mirror and a chance to strengthen yourself. 1. They insecurely assert power. The first reason people humiliate you in front of others is simple. They are insecure. They assert power not because of anything you've done, but to cover up their own fears and weaknesses. When someone mocks your idea in a meeting or belittles your contribution in front of the team, it's rarely about your abilities. It's about them, about their need to feel in control, to remind themselves that they're on top. The embarrassment they try to impose is a mask for their own vulnerability. Consider a common scenario in an American workplace. You propose a new approach in a team meeting, and a colleague interrupts with a sarcastic comment, aiming to make everyone laugh. You feel the heat rise in your chest, a flush of self-doubt creeping in. Your mind races. Did I say something wrong? Did I misjudge the idea? Here's the truth, and it's a liberating one. Their reaction is a reflection of their insecurity, not your competence. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the external world cannot harm our inner value unless we allow it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not events that disturb men, but their judgments about them." Recognizing that humiliation stems from someone else's weakness allows you to separate your self-worth from their actions. You are not their puppet. You are the master of your perception and reaction. So, what does a Stoic do in this moment? The approach is practical and layered. First, pause. Take a breath. Don't respond impulsively. Let the comment hang for a moment. Resist the urge to defend or justify yourself. Observe the situation objectively. What was said, who said it, and how it was intended. Second, probe silently. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? Does this reflect on me or on them? Most of the time, the answer will be clear. It reflects on them, not you. Finally, protect your energy. Choose a calm, composed response or none at all. Sometimes, the most powerful action is to carry on with dignity, letting their words dissipate like wind against a sturdy wall. Applying this in real life can be simple. If a coworker mocks you during a presentation, pause, make eye contact briefly, then continue speaking with the same clarity and confidence. If a friend tries to humiliate you in a social setting, maintain composure, smile lightly, and redirect the conversation. Documenting your thoughts afterward in a journal, what happened, how it made you feel, and your Stoic reframing reinforces mental resilience. The affirmation to repeat quietly in these moments. Their insecurity is not my burden. I choose my response. I maintain my dignity. This mindset transforms humiliation from a source of pain into a mirror, reflecting their weaknesses and giving you clarity, composure, and control. Each instance becomes a training ground for inner strength, a reminder that power lies in perception, not projection. By understanding that the first reason people humiliate you is rooted in their own insecurity, you reclaim the narrative. You recognize that their need to assert dominance is temporary, fragile, and external. your inner fortress, composed of reason, self-awareness, and composure, remains intact, unshaken by their fleeting attempts to undermine you. 2. They want social approval. Another reason people humiliate you in front of others is their relentless need for social approval. Some individuals derive a sense of self-worth not from competence or integrity, but from the reactions of the crowd around them. When they see an opportunity to make a joke at your expense, interrupt you, or subtly undermine your accomplishments, their goal is to earn laughs, nods, or silent recognition from those observing. It's less about you and more about reinforcing their perceived status within the group. Imagine a typical scenario in an American corporate environment. During a team meeting, you share an innovative solution to a recurring problem. Almost immediately, someone smirks, makes a sarcastic remark, and the other attendees chuckle. A moment of discomfort hits you. The question creeps in, did I just embarrass myself? Did I misstep? The reality is that this person thrives on external validation. Your discomfort is merely the tool they use to attract attention and maintain social dominance. Their need to impress others often outweighs their regard for honesty or fairness. Stoicism offers a powerful lens here. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it. That matters. By shifting your perspective, you recognize that humiliation in this context is a reflection of their dependency on others' approval, not a verdict on your abilities, intelligence, or character. You reclaim the judgment, you determine the meaning. A Stoic response is methodical. First, pause and detach emotionally. Breathe, center yourself, and observe without reacting impulsively. Acknowledge internally. Their need for approval is their own battle, not mine. Second, probe the situation. Assess whether the comment has any objective merit. If it doesn't, dismiss it mentally. Avoid the trap of over-explaining or defending yourself. Engaging only fuels their validation-seeking behavior. Third, protect your energy by responding with calm, measured actions, or sometimes no action at all. Your composure communicates strength without feeding their need for attention. Practical application in daily life can be simple, yet transformative. If a colleague cracks a joke at your expense during a Zoom meeting, maintain eye contact briefly, smile lightly, and continue your presentation confidently. In social settings, if a friend or acquaintance attempts a public slight, respond with grace, humor, or a simple redirection. Interesting perspective. Let's keep moving. Follow up later with reflection. Journal your observations, note your emotional response, and reinforce your internal affirmation. Over time, this builds resilience and mental clarity. A guiding Stoic affirmation to repeat quietly in these moments. I do not give them power over my peace. My worth is independent of their applause. This mindset reframes humiliation from an attack to an insight, a chance to observe the dynamics of social validation and maintain control over your own reactions. Each instance strengthens your ability to navigate social pressures without compromising dignity or composure. Understanding this second reason, the hunger for social approval, equips you with foresight and strategy. You recognize the pattern, detach emotionally, and preserve your sense of self. While they seek recognition from the crowd, you cultivate an inner fortress, untouched by fleeting approval or mockery. In essence, Stoicism transforms a social slight into a lesson in power, self-control, and unshakable confidence. 3. They project their weakness. A third reason people humiliate you in front of others is projection. They take their own insecurities, fears, or shortcomings and cast them onto you, often unconsciously. By highlighting your mistakes or mocking your actions, they temporarily mask their vulnerabilities. This is a psychological defense mechanism, a way to avoid facing their own weaknesses while maintaining a facade of competence or superiority. Consider a scenario many Americans are familiar with. A team member who struggles with deadlines suddenly criticizes your time management in front of the group, or a colleague who fears public speaking points out a minor mistake in your presentation. Instantly, a wave of self-doubt washes over you. Was I really off? Am I failing? The reality, however, is that their criticism is a reflection of their own challenges. They are projecting their fear of failure or inadequacy onto you to feel temporarily secure. Stoic wisdom guides us to see these moments clearly. Marcus Aurelius advised, "When someone does you wrong, remember they act out of ignorance or weakness." By framing humiliation as a projection, you remove personal judgment from the equation. It is not an evaluation of your abilities, but an insight into their psyche. Recognizing this allows you to maintain emotional stability and prevent internalizing their behavior. The Stoic approach involves 3 practical steps. First, pause. Observe the incident without rushing to defend yourself. Acknowledge the projection silently. This is their weakness, not my failure. Second, probe internally. Separate what is within your control, your response, from what isn't, their insecurities. Finally, protect your energy. Respond calmly if necessary, or let the comment pass without reaction. By doing so, you deny them the satisfaction of influencing your self-perception. In everyday life, this might look like maintaining composure during a meeting where a peer unfairly criticizes you. Instead of engaging in a defensive argument, continue presenting your points with clarity and confidence. If someone uses humor to subtly embarrass you at a social gathering, a brief acknowledgement or polite smile, followed by redirecting the conversation, can neutralize the impact. Journaling afterward, writing down the incident, your perception, and a Stoic reframing reinforces resilience and self-awareness. A powerful affirmation for these moments is, "Their weaknesses do not define me. I respond with calm and clarity." Repeating this mentally or even quietly aloud in stressful situations strengthens your internal boundaries and cultivates detachment. Each instance of projection becomes a lesson in understanding human behavior and refining your emotional armor. By identifying projection as a reason behind humiliation, you gain perspective. You see that the attack is about them, not you, and you maintain control over your interpretation and response. The Stoic mindset transforms potential embarrassment into an opportunity to practice discernment, patience, and composure. In essence, you turn someone else's weakness into your training ground for resilience, mastering the art of emotional independence and inner strength. 4. They feel threatened by your strength. A fourth reason people humiliate you in front of others is that your strength intimidates them. Strength doesn't always mean physical prowess. It can be confidence, competence, composure, or integrity. When someone perceives you as capable or self-assured, they may feel their own inadequacies magnified. Humiliation becomes their tool to reassert dominance or regain control in a social or professional hierarchy. Consider a familiar scenario in a corporate setting. You consistently perform well, meet deadlines, and propose innovative solutions. A colleague notices your effectiveness and subtle confidence. In a meeting, they undermine your suggestions with sarcasm or subtle digs, hoping to diminish your influence in front of others. The goal isn't necessarily to prove you wrong. It's to ease their discomfort and re-establish a sense of control. For you, it might feel shocking or unjust, but the root cause is clear. Your competence threatens their fragile ego. Stoicism provides a powerful framework for understanding this behavior. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." By recognizing that the humiliation is a reflection of their fear, not a measure of your worth, You detach emotionally and regain perspective. Their insecurity and attempts to belittle you do not define your value, they reveal theirs. The Stoic response is deliberate. First, pause. Don't react impulsively. Take a deep breath, observe their behavior, and separate the facts from emotional triggers. Second, probe silently. Is this about me or about their discomfort? Third, protect your energy. Respond with calm professionalism. Assert your point without defensiveness, or, in social settings, maintain composure and redirect the conversation. Sometimes, the absence of reaction is the most effective form of resistance. Practical examples include presentations or group discussions. If someone interrupts you with a dismissive remark, maintain steady eye contact, continue presenting your ideas clearly, and avoid retaliating. In social environments, if a friend tries to subtly embarrass you to appear dominant, a calm acknowledgement followed by steering the conversation to neutral topics minimizes their impact and preserves your authority. Journaling afterward, reflecting on the incident, your emotions, and Stoic reframing strengthens resilience and reinforces control over your responses. A key affirmation in these moments: their fear does not diminish my strength. I remain composed and confident. By internalizing this principle, humiliation becomes a training ground for self-mastery. Each attempt to undermine you is a reminder to maintain your poise, practice emotional independence, and cultivate inner power. Understanding this fourth reason, feeling threatened by your strength, shifts your perspective. You see the humiliation not as an attack, but as a reflection of another person's insecurity. Applying Stoic wisdom allows you to respond with clarity and composure, turning potentially embarrassing situations into opportunities to reinforce your confidence, demonstrate self-control, and preserve your dignity. Through this lens, every act of intimidation becomes a chance to practice inner strength and remain unshakable, regardless of external pressures. 5. They lack empathy. A fifth reason people humiliate you in front of others is a simple but profound one. They lack empathy. Some individuals are incapable of understanding or caring about the emotional impact of their words and actions. Their behavior is driven by self-focus, habit, or unawareness rather than malice. When they mock or belittle you publicly, it isn't necessarily personal. It is a reflection of their inability to connect with the feelings of others. Imagine a familiar scenario. At a casual office gathering, a co-worker makes a joke about your personal life, expecting a laugh from the group. You feel embarrassed, exposed, and perhaps angry. Your immediate reaction might be to defend yourself, explain, or withdraw. However, the root cause isn't about you. It's that they simply cannot perceive the discomfort they create. Their lack of empathy makes them insensitive to your perspective. Stoic philosophy provides clarity in these moments. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but your judgment about it that matters." By understanding that the humiliation stems from their internal limitations, you reclaim power over your emotional response. You're not required to absorb or internalize their insensitivity. Your inner state remains your domain. A Stoic approach involves 3 practical steps. First, pause. Resist immediate emotional reaction. Take a breath and observe the situation objectively. Second, probe. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? Does this reflect my actions or their inability to empathize? Finally, protect your energy. Decide whether to respond, redirect, or remain silent. Often, calm composure and measured responses communicate far more authority than emotional retaliation. Practical application in daily life could include situations like team meetings, social events, or family gatherings. If a colleague dismisses your achievement with a thoughtless comment, respond with neutrality. Acknowledge their remark briefly and continue with your point. If a friend shares a joke at your expense in public, smile lightly and steer the conversation elsewhere. Journaling afterward, reflecting on what happened, your emotional response, and a Stoic reframing reinforces perspective and strengthens resilience. A powerful affirmation to use in these moments is, "Their lack of empathy does not define me. I remain composed, centered, and in control of my reactions." Repeating this internally can transform frustration into calm, embarrassment into insight, and humiliation into an opportunity to practice emotional independence. Recognizing lack of empathy as a cause of humiliation allows you to maintain clarity and equanimity. Instead of reacting to the perceived attack, you observe it, understand its true source, and act with purpose. Stoic wisdom teaches that external behavior cannot dictate your inner state. Only your judgments and responses have that power. By applying this principle, every encounter with insensitive individuals becomes a chance to strengthen your composure, safeguard your dignity, and reinforce the unshakable calm at the core of your character. 6. They compete for status. Another reason people humiliate you in front of others is competition for status. Some individuals constantly measure themselves against those around them, and any perceived superiority in you threatens their sense of standing. Humiliation becomes a tool to rebalance power and reaffirm their place within social or professional hierarchies. This behavior is not necessarily personal. It's a reflection of their preoccupation with social dominance and self-image. Consider a common scenario in the American workplace. You've completed a project ahead of schedule with excellent results. During a team meeting, a colleague subtly undermines your work with a sarcastic comment or condescending remark, aiming to draw attention to themselves and reassert authority. You might feel shocked, embarrassed, or frustrated. However, their humiliation tactic stems from a need to protect their ego, not from an accurate assessment of your performance. Stoic philosophy offers a framework to navigate these moments. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone does wrong, it is because they do not know what is right." Understanding that their actions arise from their own fears and competitive nature allows you to detach emotionally. Their attempt to diminish you externally cannot touch your internal value unless you permit it. You maintain control over your interpretation, response, and self-worth. The Stoic approach can be broken into 3 practical steps. First, pause. Resist reacting impulsively. Take a breath and center yourself before responding. Second, probe. Discern what is within your control: the facts, your actions, your response, and what isn't, their competitiveness and need for validation. Third, protect. Act deliberately, with composure and professionalism. Sometimes this means responding briefly, redirecting the conversation, or not engaging at all. Each response reinforces your internal authority and demonstrates emotional mastery. In practical terms, if a colleague attempts to belittle your achievement in a meeting, you can calmly acknowledge their input and continue presenting your ideas confidently, letting your work speak for itself. In social settings, if someone tries to compete through subtle humiliation, respond with grace, humor, or neutral acknowledgement, then shift the focus to neutral topics. Journaling afterward, documenting what happened, your feelings, and your Stoic reframing strengthens resilience and awareness, allowing you to anticipate future behaviors without reacting impulsively. A guiding affirmation during such moments: "Their competition does not define me. I remain confident, composed, and true to my values." By internalizing this mindset, humiliation becomes an opportunity for reflection and self-mastery. You observe patterns of dominance, maintain your dignity, and cultivate an unshakable calm, regardless of external challenges. Recognizing that attempts to humiliate often arise from others' preoccupation with status allows you to respond thoughtfully. You gain insight into human behavior, protect your emotional energy, and reinforce your authority over your own mind. Through Stoic practice, each encounter with status-driven humiliation becomes a chance to strengthen composure, practice detachment, and solidify your inner fortitude, transforming potential conflict into a lesson in self-control and resilience. 7. They are manipulative. The seventh and final reason people humiliate you in front of others is manipulation. Some individuals use humiliation strategically to control, dominate, or test your reactions. Unlike those who act out of insecurity or competition, manipulators deliberately engineer situations to provoke, unsettle, or influence your behavior. Their goal is not social bonding or self-expression. It is control, and they seek to exploit your emotions to serve their agenda. Consider a scenario familiar to many. During a client presentation, a colleague subtly misrepresents your contribution, making it appear as though you were less competent, hoping to gain favor with the client or elevate their own standing. You feel your face flush, a knot in your stomach. The urge to defend yourself is immediate. Here's the critical Stoic insight. Their tactic is designed to elicit a predictable emotional reaction. Recognizing this allows you to maintain perspective and respond with calculated calm rather than impulse. Stoicism provides tools to navigate manipulation. Seneca advised, "No man is crushed by misfortune unless he has first been deceived by it." In essence, your power lies in your awareness and your judgment. Understanding that manipulation seeks to provoke allows you to neutralize its impact. Their words are a test of your composure, not an assessment of your value. A practical Stoic response involves 3 steps: pause, probe, and protect. First, pause. Take a deep breath and observe without immediate reaction. Notice your internal emotional response: anger, embarrassment, frustration, but do not act on it. Second, probe. Ask yourself, is this within my control? Is this a reflection of reality or an attempt to manipulate? Recognizing the distinction empowers you. Third, protect your energy. Respond deliberately if necessary. Assert boundaries calmly, or, if appropriate, disengage silently. By doing so, you maintain your dignity and refuse to provide them leverage. In daily life, this might look like handling a manipulative teammate or friend. If someone spreads a subtle insinuation about your work, acknowledge facts if needed, clarify when appropriate, and remain composed. In social settings, if a person tries to provoke embarrassment to see how you react, resist the bait, smile lightly, redirect the conversation, or remain neutral. Journaling afterward, documenting what happened, your perception, and Stoic reframing reinforces awareness and prevents emotional erosion. A key affirmation to repeat: I'm not a pawn in their game. My reactions are mine alone. This mantra helps transform manipulative attempts into lessons in discernment, patience, and self-governance. Each encounter is an opportunity to practice emotional resilience and assert internal authority. By understanding manipulation as a cause of public humiliation, you reclaim control. You recognize the intent, remain composed, and respond strategically. Stoic wisdom teaches that external provocations cannot harm your inner peace unless you permit them. By applying this mindset, humiliation becomes a tool for growth. You strengthen your composure, fortify your dignity, and maintain unshakable confidence regardless of others' attempts to unsettle you. We've now uncovered the 7 reasons people humiliate you in front of others, and it's important to understand one fundamental truth. None of it is truly about you. Insecurity, a thirst for social approval, projection of their weaknesses, fear of your strength, lack of empathy, status competition, and manipulation. These are reflections of their struggles, fears, and priorities, not a measure of your value or competence. By recognizing this, you begin to reclaim control, protect your dignity, and preserve your inner peace. Stoic philosophy reminds us that your power lies not in controlling others, but in controlling your perception and response. Every time someone tries to provoke or embarrass you, pause, observe. Ask yourself, is this mine to manage, or is it theirs to bear? This pause creates a space between stimulus and reaction, a space where clarity, composure, and self-mastery emerge. Next, set your boundaries. Detach emotionally from attempts to control or undermine you. This doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you refuse to let others' insecurities dictate your self-worth. Protect your energy by choosing when and how to engage. Speak calmly, redirect when necessary, and sometimes say nothing at all. Silence itself can be a display of strength. Finally, cultivate unwavering self-affirmation. Remind yourself daily, their words do not define me. My peace, my dignity, my focus, these belong to me alone. Turn every attempt at humiliation into an opportunity to practice resilience, self-control, and inner strength. Let these moments sharpen your awareness, reinforce your boundaries, and deepen your emotional intelligence. Humiliation, when viewed through a Stoic lens, becomes a mirror rather than a weapon. It teaches you to see human behavior clearly, to respond with purpose rather than impulse, and to remain steadfast regardless of external chaos. Each challenge is a training ground for your character, a chance to rise above, maintain poise, and cultivate the unshakable confidence that comes from self-mastery. So, take these lessons to heart. Stand tall, respond deliberately. Protect your peace, and remember, the respect you command begins with the respect you hold for yourself. Let your actions, your composure, and your principles speak louder than anyone else's attempts to undermine you. Your strength is internal, timeless, and unshakable.